because I think I struggle with it. I think most people struggle with it. Yeah, we read all these, self-help books, and yet we don't transition for some reason. And something clicks one point in time, and we do. But what does that click? That's the part I'm still trying to solve. Do you know what that click is? I don't know.
I think for me, because I mean, I was a guy behind the curtain forever, and so part of me was fearful of being in front of the camera. Hence why I started a podcast, because I knew the podcast was just gonna be my voice. I never thought I had a radio voice or anything like that. I was okay. Well, let me just start.
Yep.
Then now is at the point to where I enjoy it. I look forward to it. So now it becomes so effortless. It's like I'm not really trying. Like we're just having a conversation. I'm listening to what you're saying, and then I'm absorbing content from you, and then we're regurgitating and we're mixing it up. It's like we're baking a cake, but
Yep.
again, you're gonna have to break some eggs in that process. So I think over a period of time, you get to the point to where you're not just baking cakes. You're making cookies. You're making like all these different desserts, and you have a smorgasbord of items that you can kind of reach into your back pocket and present at that point in time. But it takes time and effort to get to that point. Because again, if you go back 3 years ago, you and I we're strangers technically
Yeah.
an hour ago, right? But
Yeah.
now it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we have like this unsung brotherhood, and we can communicate. And I can see you in the street and walk up to you and say, "Hey, what's going on, Dan? Like
Yeah.
podcast, blah 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 blah. What's going? Yeah, how things are going with your family in Ukraine?" Because now we've established that bond and unity. Because again, the veil and the fear is down. So it's
Yeah.
overcoming that first step of, like you said, just talking to someone, communicating with them, and the outcome could definitely be fruitful if you just be yourself 100%.
Well, but as I'm thinking with your story, you had this transition point. You were behind the curtain, and then you said, "Okay, I'm going to launch this podcast, right? I'm going to get my face in front of there." What was the trigger? Like, is it something like, "Okay, I'm tired of this"? Something must have
Uh,
pushed you, right? Because you
I
could
had
have
a
been behind the
stroke.
curtain next 20 years. I'm sorry.
I had a stroke. That was my trigger point. So
Yeah.
literally, like I was just in the hospital trying to say, okay, well, okay, what am I going to do next? Obviously, like I have all this business background. How do I project that forward? And then it kind of grew. Oh, I'll start a podcast. Why the hell not? And then it went from being a
And here we are.
podcast into where we are right now.
I mean, interestingly enough, like we look at Kanye's story, Kanye West, right? He had an accident. He came back. He's like, "What am I doing? This is my life, right? I need to do this. I need to make this happen." And that best album of all time, right?
Yeah.
It's we have these trigger points. That's what it is. Uh, what I'm trying to learn and understand in life is do we have a trigger point? How we encourage people to have a trigger point without having to have a stroke, right?
Yeah.
And that's because that is a roller coaster ride that I don't. I'm sorry that you went through, but you don't want everyone to go through that experience because that's a scary experience, right? And it's not always a pleasant, actually never pleasant, right? And so we have something in our company, like people come to us where they're like, my dad got heart disease, my dad got diabetes, someone in my family passed away, and then all of a sudden that's a trigger point for them.
Hmm.
But why? Like, how do we encourage those trigger points without having them go through hardships? Or maybe hardship is required for the trigger points.
I think it
You
is.
know,
I think it
you think it
definitely
is?
is. I think it's kind of like fight or flight, right? I mean, some
Yeah,
people they want to fight, and some people they want to run. But you can only run but so far until you hit a wall, hit another corner, and then you turn
yeah,
around, and then all of a sudden that switch hits, and you go from running to fighting. So it's that trigger point of okay, I'm tired of running, I'm tired of hiding, I'm tired of being embellished by fear, and now I'm gonna seize the opportunity and I'm gonna kick that shit in his ass.
exactly. But yeah, and then I think my life mission is to figure out how do you get that kicking ass faster, earlier, right?
Yeah, yeah, it'll
Because
be
I think
interesting. Yeah.
we live in this comfortable world where the problem is that you can make okay money and have an okay job that you don't really care about, and you just keep going to it because there's nothing kicking your ass.
Hmm.
And it's so easy. Like the comforts of life really slow you down a lot of times. This is gonna sound really silly sometimes, but like once every 2 months, I'll sleep on the floor and I'll have the worst night of sleep. I hate it. It's just terrible. I literally sleep on the floor with like no pillow, and it's terrible. And that reminds me of like, hey, you have a good life. Get your shit together. No matter how comfortable you are, keep hustling. Because it's after a while you get a nice mattress, and then you have all these mattresses that are coming out like memory foam and all this, and then the cooling pillow, but the temperature of the mattress is different than the pillow, and it's too easy to get too comfortable and not just keep going. And these things are so affordable now that we live in the U.S. It's such a comfortable place to live in. So how do we force ourselves to be
Hmm.
kicked in the ass? And I constantly remind myself to kick in the ass. Like sometimes I will literally like my friends will try to go a nice dinner and I will say, no, I'm not going out. And like, what are you doing? I'm like, absolutely nothing. I want to feel like a little bit of pain and discomfort to keep reminding myself to keep going because it's so easy to get complacent. It's so
Hmm.
simple.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's I mean, I love hearing what you're saying. I mean, you're talking about the desire to be hungry no matter what's going on. Like, you could be a multi-billionaire tomorrow, and that's why some multi-billionaires are the way they are. Like, they're a multi-billionaire, but they may own the original Honda that they already had. They
Yeah.
may still live
Yeah.
in the apartment. They could buy the entire block, but they don't because, again, they don't want to lose and they want to stay focused on achieving and leaving that legacy and whatever that legacy may be.